Hello everyone, my name is Atharva Pathak, and I'm a rising sophomore at Princeton University majoring in physics. And this summer I had the opportunity to do research at UF through the SURF program. I worked in computational materials science with Professor Subhash and his group in the Laboratory for Dynamic Response of Advanced Materials. I closely interacted with postdoc Dr. Salil Babrikar and PhD students Kimia Ghaffari and Michael McIsaac. Michael has been my primary mentor, and I've been working very closely with him throughout the summer. I also interacted with Professor Douglas Sparrott, who's an expert in computational materials research. The materials of interest for us are ultra-hard and complex ceramics. My project focused on comparing machine learning approaches for accurate simulation of material behaviors and properties. So first of all, why do we need simulations? Well, in experiments, we typically see the beginning and end states. Sometimes we can also measure certain quantities, such as temperature and pressure during the test. But when experiments are conducted in millisecond or microsecond duration, for example in crash or impact, we don't have the ability to make such measurements. In computer simulation, however, one can visualize the event at finer time and length scales and make measurements at the femtosecond and angstrom level. So material simulation requires a calculation of energies of structures that constitute the materials. Popular methods for getting these energies include quantum mechanical calculations and empirical approaches. The quantum mechanical calculations are accurate but computationally expensive. Empirical methods, on the other hand, which involve fitting experimental data to functional forms, can be faster, but they require significant human input, and they can be inaccurate. To strike a balance between the accuracy of quantum mechanical calculations and the speed of empirical approaches, I've been developing machine-learned interatomic potentials, or MLIPs. MLIPs are initially trained on quantum mechanical data, which allows them to maintain accuracy while being faster in subsequent simulations. So approaches to MLIPs have been proliferating, and their advantages and disadvantages are not well understood. So my project was to compare different packages which make MLIPs, asking questions like, how much and what type of data is needed? How well do they predict material properties like elastic constants? And how well do they generalize to complicated situations like liquids? I've been using two packages, DeepMD and UF3, which have substantially different approaches to making MLIPs. DeepMD utilizes artificial neural networks, which are a machine learning architecture modeled after human brains to capture complex multi-atom interactions. On the other hand, UF3 uses simple linear regression to capture 2 and 3 atom interactions. So my findings have allowed us to better appreciate the need for data diversity in terms of configurations and mixtures of atom types, including a proposal for a data generation pipeline to ensure diversity of structures utilizing liquid snapshots. I found that if a UF3 MLIP is trained on ordered structures, it fails even on very similar ordered structures. However, once UF3 is given diverse data, the MLIP is able to predict properties of ordered structures and is even generalizable to unseen structures. DeepMD MLIPs, if trained on ordered structures, fare a bit better at predicting other similar ordered structures. But again, DeepMD MLIPs need diverse data and lots of it to have generalizability. So I sort of visualize these models as a human learning a language, where UF3 is a young child and DeepMD is an adult linguist. At first, a baby just blabbers, but with exposure, they quickly learn a language. By contrast, an adult linguist can quickly learn a few phrases, but they must be immersed in the culture that speaks the language to fully learn it, and then eventually they'll gain an understanding of it and be able to describe every grammatical nuance with precision. So UF3 is sort of an intuitive package, being able to learn quickly from a broad selection of data, whereas DeepMD is sort of more analytical, needing tons of data to learn from and practice on, but eventually being able to describe fine details. So stepping back, the SURF research experience was incredible. I've learned a lot about computational materials science. I've learned how to use resources on the HyperGator computational cluster. I've learned so much both through daily interactions and weekly discussions at group meetings. I've learned how to do literature search, how to implement code, and even how to dig into source code to understand how things work. It's also been really rewarding to see how the physics I've learned in classes like thermodynamics and quantum mechanics applies in cutting-edge research. Most importantly, I've also learned how to conduct research, what it's like to be a grad student, and how to slowly chip away at these incredibly hard problems. I'd like to thank Mike Nazareth and Ashley Wilson of SURF for running the program, and of course, I'd like to thank everyone in my lab group for all their guidance throughout the summer, but especially Michael, for taking such effort to teach me and being such an amazing partner for collaboration. Overall, it's been a super fun and rewarding experience. Go Gators!